For those of you who are just joining, my name is Bob Heinrich, and I am the university's Chief Enrollment Management Officer. First and foremost, congratulations to all the students that we have with us today on your acceptance to Stockton. We are extremely excited and grateful for you joining us today to take part in our admitted students virtual events. I know that this is a difficult time for all of you. Everything that we've gone through over the past few weeks is new to us all. And I just want to remind you that the entire team from the Stockton Admissions Office is here to support you in any way that we can. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us if there is anything at all that we can assist you with as you're going through your college decision process and trying to decide. We realize that we would have much rather had the opportunity to have these discussions with you in person, to have you on our campus, taking part in our what we call a day in the life or admitted students day. So that would have been this past Sunday, but fortunately, our fantastic team has put together a mix of online events to try to replicate what that in-person experience would have been. So without further ado, what I would like to do now is introduce you to our speaker, Dr. Michelle McDonald. And Dr. McDonald, she joined the Stockton community in 2006 as a faculty member in history before moving to the office of the provost in 2014. And she's currently now serving as our interim provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs. And in that capacity, Michelle oversees the work of Stockton's 7 schools, as well as the numerous offices, centers, and institutes that support Stockton's academic mission. In addition, she also has the Office of Research and Sponsored Programs, Continuing Studies, the Center for Community Engagement, and the Office of Global Engagement. And she's also the university's accreditation liaison officer for the Middle States Commission of Higher Education. I know that Michelle is extremely excited to provide you with some advice as you begin your journey at Stockton. So please join me in welcoming Dr. McDonald.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to say welcome. First, welcome to Stockton University virtually, and then welcome to my living room, which is not Stockton University, but which is where I am greeting you this afternoon. Today has been designed to help you to make what is arguably one of the most important decisions of your life, and those of your children for those parents who might be listening in, as I suspect more than a few are. This online event, in other words, is about your future. And I realize that is sometimes a difficult topic to discuss in today's environment. It can be a confusing topic to talk about in today's environment. Nonetheless, it is imperative. You will be virtually touring our classrooms, our laboratories, and dorm rooms, places to help you see yourself here. But as beautiful as these buildings and these resources might be, and they are, they're not able to provide the kind of quality education that we strive for without what I would argue is the most important resource, and that's our faculty. And I'm not just saying that because I was a member of the faculty for 10 years. If you haven't already, I recommend that you do a little bit of research about who teaches here. Take a look at what they've studied, what they work on, where they've published and presented their work, because I would stack their credentials up against any of those at any public institution, and candidly, most private institutions in terms of what they do. What's important to remember is that they chose to come here, to teach at an institution that very self-consciously and avowedly puts teaching first. More than 70% of our classes are taught by full-time faculty, and that is part of what makes Stockton so distinctive. This is the highest average of full-time faculty taught courses at any of New Jersey's public institutions, and it's well above the national average. We also have one of the lowest ratios of students to faculty, 17 of you to every one of us. And that means that our classes are small, on average between 30 or 35 students. And in your capstone experiences, your senior seminars, your labs, your performance classes, your studios, they're smaller still, closer to 15 students. And why does that matter for you? It matters because your professors are tenured here. So you can regularly rely on seeing them in your courses and what you need semester after semester and year after year. It also means that your professors get to know you during your time at Stockton. They get to know your strengths and your challenges. They come to understand your dreams and your potential. And that puts us in a much, much better position to help you realize them. Now, I've only begun to scratch the surface of what Stockton has to offer, and that's because we've set up throughout this week several virtual opportunities to get to know us and for us to get to know you. And as you do, please don't forget that our best asset is our people. We know that you have choices, and in the end, where you decide to pursue your education will all come down to a question of fit. How well do we meet your needs? And how well do the reasons we love Stockton line up with what you're looking for in a university? Because deciding to come to Stockton University has to be the right opportunity for you, just as joining this community, and it is a community, even now, socially distanced as we are, has been the right decision for all of us. Thanks, and I hope that you enjoy your time online, and I'm looking forward to your questions.
Thank you, Michelle. You know, that was an amazing talk, and we currently, have been answering the questions as they have come up, but it might be helpful for us to go into the Q&A and just call out some of those questions, because that may actually have students potentially have more questions to ask. And I'm going to ask Elisa and Allison to kind of facilitate that a little bit.
The students were asking how exactly they can find specific information related to the major they've applied to. For instance, a student was asking, I'm interested in pursuing forensic science. How can I get more specific information?
Okay, so the best way to do that is to delve down to what we call the program page. We have what you think of as majors, we call programs. At some schools, they're called departments. So the easiest way to do that, if you go to the Stockton website, look up academics, and you'll find all 7 of our schools. So depending on what your major is, and I'll get to forensics in just a minute, depending on what your major is, it could be in arts and humanities, or in business, in education, in general studies. That's a very rare, more specific school for those who are looking for interdisciplinary work. It could also be in our School of Health Sciences. That's one of our largest schools, natural sciences and mathematics, and social and behavioral sciences. That last one, the School of Social and Behavioral Sciences, that's where you'll find information about forensics. You're going to be looking at our criminal justice program. So I offer you, if you go to the School of Social and Behavioral Sciences, look for the criminal justice program. They have a variety of different kinds of concentrations, and that's where you're going to be able to find information about forensics.
We have a question here. Can a student double major in social work and psychology?
A student can definitely double major in social work and psychology. We try to arrange it so that you can do a variety of different sorts of combinations. So we love double majors. We love students who are looking for a major and a minor. Those 2 majors put together will give you a variety of options when you're looking at graduate school or at careers beyond. So you can definitely, if you go to, there's 2 places I would recommend you go. Go to both of the websites, again, of those programs, so social work and psychology. And then definitely, if you have a chance, particularly this week, see if you can set up an appointment with academic advising. Academic advising can link you through specifically how you can have those 2 majors work together as efficiently as possible. In many ways they can, because they're housed within the same school. They're, again, both within social and behavioral sciences, apparently a popular school for our virtual students this afternoon. But you can think about how you can be most efficient in thinking about all of the degree requirements and how they can link them together, but definitely a possibility and encouraged.
Hi, Dr. McDonald. A lot of students and parents and families, as they're looking for their college of choice, or looking kind of at the end prize. So in other words, what does Stockton do in their academic environment to help students be successful and to actually graduate and get experiences to be successful participants in our society?
Oh, excellent question. I'm going to give you a couple of answers. And then if you want me to expand, definitely let me know. So first of all, a lot of our programs have built in already what we think of as experiential or applied opportunities. That's it's a fancy way of saying internships or other ways of connecting your education outside the classroom. So for example, I don't know if there was a discipline associated with that question, but in the School of Health Sciences or in the School of Business, almost every major, regardless of what major you are within those two schools, will have a required internship or clinical placement. If you're looking at specific degrees in some of the other schools, social work also has a required field placement opportunity. But with any of the programs, you can also do internships or service learning opportunities. And that's a different kind of way of engaging with your community and connecting our institution with the world outside. Service learning classes, I'll delve into them for just a second. They can be associated within any discipline. We have a broad range. If you have more interest, just go to the Stockton website and type in service learning, and that website will come right up to you. You'll see which classes have been affiliated with service learning, and it's a chance for students to take what they learn and apply it meaningful to a partner institution with whom we have an ongoing relationship. The reason I mention all of these kinds of things, clinical placements, internships, and service learning, is as much as we value the core academic experience that a university has to offer, there is no question that students are better prepared to move out into graduate school or the market if they're going to look for jobs when they have experience, not just in theory, but in practice. And that's what those kinds of experiences give our students and prepare them for the world after they graduate.
We had some questions about Atlantic City and the programming over there. Could you speak a little bit about the Atlantic City programming?
I can. Sorry, you saw me perk up. Before I had my current title, most recently I was the Chief Academic Officer for Atlantic City. Atlantic City is near and dear to my heart. I have to tell you, it's a little frustrating. As engaging as this is, and it is, this is fun, this is different. I get to be my own, show person personality here. But it's you guys really have to come and see the campus when you have a chance. You really do. Atlantic City Galloway's lovely. Galloway's beautiful. It really is. Atlantic City's on the beach. So
breathtaking. Galloway's beautiful. Atlantic City is breathtaking.
There is natural wonder for all, right? Depending on what your tastes are. In Galloway, we have the trees and the lakes. And the wooded paths, and those are beautiful. In Atlantic City, we have the boardwalk and the ocean. And I am going to get to the academics because I appreciate that I'm the Chief Academic Officer, and really that's what I should be focusing on. But Atlantic City we opened it a year and a half ago. We're winding down our 4th semester this term. And the students have embraced it beautifully. During our first year, we had, I want to say it was about 115 courses. They span the curriculum. There are some areas that have more courses in Atlantic City than others. And primarily those are disciplines that can take advantage of the city as part of their classroom. So our business and hospitality students spend a good deal of time down there. Our social work students, education, psychology, but really any major can find a time to spend in Atlantic City, or you can take some of your general studies courses down there. Some of our best general studies courses are being offered in Atlantic City. The forecasting of waves, the science, the ecology of fishing, which had this fabulous opportunity to do line cast fishing into the ocean and learn more about the ways in which we engage with these ecosystems. In addition to the academic opportunities, and they've grown every semester in terms of what we offer in AC. There's also a stunning residential complex in Atlantic City that houses 533 students. It's interesting. The first year, I'll stop in a second. I know this is my favorite topic, but I'll stop in a second. The first year, it was the last dormitory to fill because students had to take it sight unseen. They couldn't even walk into the building. The building opened just weeks before the students moved into it. But it still filled to capacity. The second year, once the word got out and students could really tour the facility, it filled in 4 hours after we opened housing. It was our most popular place to live. And really, you just have to take a look at the photographs that we have online to understand why. The photographs do not do it justice. When you walk into the building, it is a stunningly beautiful place to be. As I told the students their inaugural semester when they were moving in, you are moving into a dorm room that is nicer than any apartment I have ever lived in, with the exception of the one that I live in now, and I am 50 years old. So enjoy it. It is a beautiful environment in which to live, in which to learn, and in which to engage with the community. And it's 14 mere miles from Galloway. 14 miles, 22 minutes by shuttle. The shuttles have Wi-Fi. So definitely look at Atlantic City as an option. And yes, in case you're wondering, first-year students can live in Atlantic City, and did successfully this year. So a few things to keep in mind. First and foremost, it's where we're located in Atlantic City. So for those of you who have not been to Atlantic City, it's not a big town, it's 48 blocks, 48 blocks. But the majority of the gaming activity and the entertainment activity is further up the island than where we are. We're located in an area called Chelsea, which is bordering on a very residential neighborhood portion of the island. So that's important to keep in mind. What is the context? And we built there for a reason. We built there because it made sense. This was land that was already available and cleared, but it also puts us in a much quieter and a much safer district. For those of you who are familiar with the shore area, we are literally within blocks of Ventnor, and then Margate, and then further down the shore. So we're definitely on the south side of Atlantic City, moving down toward Ventnor. That's number one. But number two, it's not just where we are, it's how we've chosen to think about those spaces and to ensure that they're secure. So both the residential building and the academic center have front security desks to monitor who comes in and out of the buildings and ensure that the people who are there are people who have reasons to be there. In particular, for the residence halls, we're very mindful that this is going to be a question for parents and for prospective students, and we want to make certain that you feel as comfortable as you can be. In addition to what is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, constantly monitored front desk area, we have a police substation that's located in the residence hall, and that's affiliated directly with the Atlantic City Police Department. So we have access to their camera systems, they have access to ours. We're tied into a much larger security network that spans beyond the confines of the university and into the neighboring city, and they take that investment seriously. And I can say now that we've been here for 2 years, knock on wood, there's some wood, knock on that wood, we've had no incidents in Atlantic City.
As far as any new programs you can talk about, or some programs coming soon, are there any programs you would like to highlight there?
Excellent question. We have had a few that we've opened up recently that are worth highlighting, and then some that we've had for a while, but that may not be as well known. I always like to give a plug to those because for students who are coming in, you may be familiar with more common ways of thinking about the sciences or the humanities or the social sciences, but it's fun to think of perhaps some career options that you didn't consider. So some new degrees that we've recently opened. We have been rethinking how we do business studies, for example, at the undergraduate level. We've had your basic management, we've had finance, accounting, and hospitality, but now we're also looking at destination tourism. And event planning, right? So for those of you who are thinking about more specialized forms of thinking about hospitality and business, those are definitely courses that you should look at. Over in the health sciences, we've had health sciences and business. They are our two largest schools. I swear the deans roam around the parking lots looking for undeclared students to grab and bring it so they can become the largest, because it's always within like a single digit or so of how big these schools are. But we have, at the undergraduate level, we have basic health sciences degree, but then you can also specialize in pre-occupational therapy, pre-physical therapy, communication disorders. We've started an exercise science degree. That one's relatively new, and it has tripled in size since it opened with its inaugural cohort. So exercise science is definitely one to look at. We are reinvigorating our public health degree. And public health has a variety of different applications. So I encourage you to take a look at that as an option as well. I'm trying to think. Oh, well, I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. It got quite a bit of fanfare when it first opened up. It's not a degree program, it's minor, but it can go in a lot of different directions. Wait for it. We were one of the first institutions in the nation to launch a minor in Cannabis Studies, which got a lot of attention. on the national stage. And that's not because it's more than it sounds, right? It's a serious degree that looks at the science behind it, that looks at the ethics behind it, that looks at the marketing behind it, that looks at the agricultural and environmental impact behind it, that looks at the social and cultural impacts, right? So all of these touch on different fields. If you're interested in from a business perspective, from a science perspective, from a social and cultural perspective, from a marketing perspective, all of those might be reasons why you would be interested in something like cannabis studies. It's a thriving new commodity industry. It's worth paying attention to.
Definitely going back to those ELOs, adapting to change and environment. We were on the front of that with the Cannabis Studies program, and I know we have a lot of interest there. Even with I've talked to prospective students that want to be police officers.
Mm-hmm.
That that definitely changes. So there is merit to this program, and it's a serious program, and it just shows how we are adapting to the new regulations and laws in the state.
Yep. Yep, and nationwide. And it's important that we take advantage. That's one of the goals of looking, when you think about the academic landscape, it's not fixed. There aren't a fixed number of majors. It's important to pay attention to where there's opportunities, where there's expansion. One of the other recent innovations that we did was to rethink how we do computer science, for example. So we now have a computer science degree, but we also have a computer science and information science degree. And they have different concentrations. So depending on what your interest is in that field, take a look at the options that are available to you. To help tailor the experience to where you really think your career trajectory is going to be.
Hey, just a quick question for the incoming students. Many of them applied with a major. Many of them, once they experience some other things, might change that major, as we all well know. But a lot of students are coming in undecided. If you could give these students a word of, or some words of advice coming in undecided, and what kind of options to look at and what kind of experiences to help them, not only with their preceptor, but help them find their place and find their way.
Sure. First of all, let me just move back to the changing your major question. Well, undecided ultimately does change your major, right? You have to choose a major. I'll go ahead and share that I started my college experience as a literature major. And then about a year and a half in, it wasn't really what was interesting me. And so I thought, well, maybe philosophy. So I changed to philosophy. And then I took symbolic logic. That was the only C I ever got in college. And I decided perhaps philosophy wasn't really where I was intended to be. And I sat down and really thought about what courses I found most interesting. And I realized that the courses I'd been most drawn to, that I'd most enjoyed, were all in history. And so that I changed again and became a history major. And that's what I graduated as. And that's what I ultimately pursued a doctorate in. And that's what I taught in for 10 years at Stockton before I moved into the job that I have now. So point number one is changing your major is not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, I realize it can be disconcerting to parents. I'm not talking about adding on lots of extra years to a degree. It would be unusual for all 18-year-olds to know exactly what they want to do at this point in their life. You are about to embark on a time when you can explore and try new things and change your mind in a way that isn't going to be as accessible probably any other time again. So take advantage of it where you can. But here's what I can assure you. So I changed majors twice, right? And I graduated in 3.5 years. So what you can pay attention to is when you change your major, you don't lose the courses you take, right? You make sure that you scaffold them into the degree you become. And that is the advice I would also give to those who are coming in undeclared. So when you're coming in undeclared, there's a variety of different aspects of your degree. There's the courses in your major, there's your general studies courses, there's the courses that you take what's called a cognate. So there are courses within similar fields, but not in your specific major, and then there are courses at some distance. If you really don't know what you want to study yet, take a couple of your general studies courses. Make sure you're paying attention to your writing and your math requirements so you can get those out of the way early if you need them. Choose a freshman seminar that may be unusual to you and expose you to different fields and new ideas. Every student has to take a freshman seminar. It's required. And you have to take it in your freshman year, hence the name, freshman seminar. So choose a freshman seminar that maybe is a little bit out of your wheelhouse and expose yourself to some different ideas. Use that first year to take a variety of different courses, or even the first year and a half. Because here's the thing, regardless of what major you settle on, the courses that you took, if you become a science major, will either become your cognate courses, or if you became a humanities major, will become your at some distance courses. And I'm using a lot of terms that may feel like inside baseball. But what I mean to say is you cannot go wrong in your first year and a half by taking courses. It's hard to take a wrong class. So instead, use that time to explore different classes. That's the best way to find something that you're passionate about. And do find something that you're passionate about. 4 years is a lot of time to spend on a degree, right? This is supposed to be to set you up for potentially the kind of work you might do afterwards. So choose something that keeps your interest. You have to.
Thanks so much, Michelle. And I know a lot of those freshman seminars are very interesting. I know last year there was math and baseball, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Both things scare me. So that sounded very scary, but I'm sure to many people that is a very attractive course. They're all different, and they do teach students a content area, but those transferable skills for the rest of their college experience. So thank you so much for hitting on those as well. I believe we have another panelist joining us. Jessica, would you like to introduce yourself and ask a question?
Sure. So thank you, Dr. McDonald, Allison, and Elisa. You all have been doing amazing. And I know we're almost wrapping up, but I did want to basically say, I'm a proud alum, class of 2009, communication studies major. But prior to that, I was an aspiring actress, an aspiring dentist. I even studied business law at one point. So I changed my major quite a few times. So for those students who find themselves taking a variety of courses, not necessarily that falls under any of our existing academic programs, isn't there a degree at Stockton that you could pursue and major in with the mentorship and guidance of our faculty?
Sure. So we have, in addition to the discrete majors, if you really have something else that is not fitting into something that we offer, and I'd like to say that most of our degrees are very flexible, we can allow you to make your own. We have a program I mentioned when I was going through the various academic schools. I said we had the School of General Studies. And the School of General Studies doesn't have a lot of its own majors, but it does house, because it's really interdisciplinary, it houses a degree called liberal arts or liberal studies. And in that degree, you work with your faculty to very carefully craft basically a major of your own. So you choose how you pull these classes together. It could be that you were so interested in environmental studies or in sustainability, but you're also equally interested in aspects of business or marketing. And what you really want is a degree that allows you to combine these two things and think about how you can pursue a field that focuses on product development and marketing for environmentally sustainable projects, right? You can do that at Stockton. You can sit down with your faculty and decide, and it will be academically rigorous, again, for those parents in the room. This isn't where students are self-selecting just the courses that they want to take. And I will say it's not a lot of students who choose this path. You're usually very self-motivated and directed if you choose this option, because there's a lot of work that you put into it with your faculty to make this degree your own. But you do have that option as well. You can take a look at all of our degree programs and you can decide, I haven't yet seen the one I want, but you can build it.
Thank you so much. That was awesome.
Thanks, Jess.
Well, we are at the 5-minute mark before this session is about to end, and I just wanted to say thank you again to Dr. McDonald for spending time with our admitted students, both freshmen and transfer, who have been accepted to Stockton University for the fall 2020 semester. Dr. McDonald, thank you for sharing your expertise and insights about our great university. We greatly appreciate, everything that you have provided to our participant.
Thank you for joining me this afternoon. I really appreciate it.